faculty development program will give the directions to their research and the publications. And this FDP is organized by the very dynamic team of Maharashtra State Women's Forum APTI, Dr. Payal Dande, Dr. Vandana Kanvilkar Madam, Professor Ravina Jain Madam, and Dr. Vandana Vidya Bhusari Madam. So all this team is working very hard, specifically this year. You can say this is a very energetic team and organizing this various programs. And this FDP, this is a third session of this FDP. Earlier two sessions were very well appreciated by all the attendees. And I think the first session was there by Dr. Vasumati Shri Ganesham ma'am. And she has delivered a very excellent talk onto the reference writing, which is very important for the research proposal and publications. And also the second was by Dr. Jai Prakash Sangshetty from YB Chauhan College of Pharmacy from my college. He has given drafting of publication, and it's an art of writing the research paper, how to write the research paper. And in this series, today we are having the guidance from the eminent resource person, Dr. Vandana Patravale ma'am, and she is going to enlighten us onto the funding opportunity, because you know that the research or the paper writing nowadays, funding is very important. And especially the institutions, private institutions are there, which are running onto the fundings from the government agencies. And to get the funding from government agencies is not an easy task. So that's why to make this particular task very easy, so we are having Vandana Patravale ma'am, and she is going to guide us onto the funding opportunities and writing the strategies for research proposal, how to write the research proposal. So this will be very helpful for all of us, budding researchers, to get the maximum funding and to write a good research proposal. So I once again welcome all the attendees, Vandana Patravale ma'am, and all the delegates for this wonderful session, which will be definitely helpful for all of us. So thank you very much. Once again, I welcome you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I request Dr. Payal Dande ma'am to introduce our today's esteemed speaker, Dr. Vandana Patravale ma'am. Payal ma'am.
Vandana madam's video is not on.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you are.
So there are a few things that came up in chat. I was just trying to reply them. There's I think someone who has wrote that they are not here, so I would request them to again check with their mic. And I would like to ask others, am I audible well?
Audible. You are audible, very much audible.
Again, I would like to also tell the participants that I have shared both the links, the link of Microsoft Teams as a live link, which is already live, so you can even join through that. Now I come to introduce the speakers, and I'm very happy and take a lot of pride and pleasure to introduce Dr. Vandana Patravale ma'am with having such a great impressive biodata. Dr. Vandana Patravale is presently working as a professor at Pharmaceutical Department at Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai. She has got 30 years of experience in teaching and research and almost over 200 publications with more than 12,000 citations. 30 granted patents are already in her kitty, and 20 patents are in pipeline. 2 trademarks are already registered. She has published 5 books and almost 45 book chapters with international publishers. Dr. Patravale has been active in teaching, research, and services since last 30 years. She is elected as a fellow of prestigious Indian National Science Academy and Indian National Academy of Engineering. She is listed consecutively in top 2% world scientists in pharmacy on the basis of publications and citations since the list is getting published by Stanford University. Her area of research includes development of nanocarriers with major emphasis on infectious disease, cancer, and neurodegenerative disorders with medical device development, nanodiagnostics, and nanovaccines, which she is currently working on. There's a list of awards that I'm going to read now, which she prestigiously has achieved and won in several years. Most Iconic Healthcare Global Leader Award, which she has won in 2023. Topmost Healthcare Leader Global Award in 2022. Abdul Kalam Technology Innovation National Fellowship Award in 2021. Fellowship of the Society in 2020. Kukreja Oration Award once again in 2020. APTI Dr. Manjushri Pal Best Pharmaceutical Scientist Award in 2019. Shri Amrut Modi Distinguished Researcher Award in 2018. OPPI Women Scientist Award in 2015. Bill Melinda Gates Grant Award in 2015. Best Pharmaceutical Scientist Award in 2014. Boswick Award in 2013. Veneto Nanotech Award in 2013. APTI Best Teacher Award 2012. Fellowship of Maharashtra Academy of Science in 2011. And KR's Gerda Distinguished Researcher Award in 2009. I can't see any year left. Almost all the years she has won so many awards since last 10 years. We are very proud of you, ma'am. She is presently a convener of APTI Women's Forum, President at CRS Indian Chapter, Vice President for Pediatric Medicine Healthcare Initiative, Editor for CRS IC as well as for APTI Women's Forum. She is also an Associate Editor of Elsewhere Journal and is there on the editorial board of many peer-reviewed journals. Actively collaborating with other researchers in India as well as in abroad, along with the industries within various places like Indo-Swiss, Indo-Ireland, Indo-Japan, and Indo-UK projects. She is executing all major grants from India government focusing on product development. Besides, projects from USA and Europe are also being undertaken. She has transferred almost 20 plus technologies to industry, and this included various things like drug-eluting stents, which is being marketed for more than 65 countries. We would like to welcome you, ma'am, and we are very eagerly waiting.
Thank you so much, Payal, and also Dr. Lahoti for a very, very warm welcome. If you could confirm my slides are seen.
Is they visible?
Thank you so much. So today, dear friends, I'm going to talk on funding opportunities as well as on what could be the strategies for writing research proposals. My email ID is given. You can contact me anytime for any kind of guidance you may want. We are all here for you. Now, as far as funding is concerned, we can divide it into research funding, maybe funding which is required for creating infrastructure. Funding, once you have the infrastructure to develop centers of excellence. And nowadays, of course, we are talking from center of excellences, talking about having incubation facilities also. So all this would be covered along with some of the research grants which are available for students, because many of the faculty members are also pursuing PhD degree. So if you have to divide this or classify it in a different way, it could be funding for research students, for postdoctoral fellows, for faculty, and at the institute level. We can have funding both from national bodies and international bodies. In fact, I have seen that most of us struggle applying for national bodies, where sometimes there are certain norms, certain criteria, and we do not fit into those criteria. Whereas if you look at international bodies, there are no such criteria, no age limit. No private college, government college segregation, and therefore chances are more that if your idea is really good, you can get the funding from international bodies. So obviously, we all know that national bodies, government funding is much sought after. Now, you can get from central government bodies like you have, Department of Science and Technology, DBT, many others. But nowadays, even state government bodies have these grants. Rajiv Gandhi, for example, the technology grant which is now being available to us in the Maharashtra state, they give you to the tune of 40 lakhs. And if you can justify, that amount increases. Plus, nowadays, many of the universities have started giving their own grants. As far as international bodies are concerned, again, you can have it from federal sources, that's government sources, maybe from private sources, within the university grants, which model, now our universities are following. As far as non-government sources are concerned, many times we do not know that there are grants which are available from private trust. And in fact, now I tell everyone to, if you have good contacts, you can get funds under CSR, which is corporate social responsibility. That's the responsibility of a multinational company or companies to spend some of their profit, put it back to the society. So some people put it in hospitals, some people do put it in research organizations, and we have been really blessed to have CSR funding at ICT. So it could be certain trusts like Care Trust. How many of you know that Indoco Remedies has a trust, private trust, Tata Trust, Fair and Lovely? All these trusts give fellowships. They do give certain seed money to conduct your grant. And besides, of course, lot of money, through your state government can also come through, because state government gives to NGOs, NGOs can give you that money. You can work very closely, though I have classified it under non-government sources. Many times you work hand in hand. Non-government and government sources work hand in hand. And NGOs are definitely attracting a lot of money which they would like to put up. For example, a midday meal, finding out that what nutraceuticals can be packed and in what form it can be packed so that all kids get nutritious diet. So I remember one Karnataka government, state government contacting me through NGO to develop something which will be useful to many. So we need to give back to our society, and sometimes, you need to work, even if you have ideas, they provide you consumables that should be enough to take the technology ahead. Now, these are some of the major national funding agencies, and I'm sure you would have heard names of DST, DBT, but how many of you have written grants to DRDO? It's Defense R&D organization. So if you have any idea which can be applicable to, our armed forces or naval forces, any defense organization, you can write. It could be in material sciences area. And that's where ICT has done work on carbon nanotubes and given, the bulletproof jackets to these. Now, these bulletproof jackets, can you not couple it with pharma? Answer is yes, we can. Because these are being worn by those soldiers who are generally in just give me a second, please. Yeah, these particularly are used by soldiers, no, who require mosquito repellents. So can you not micro-encapsulate those mosquito repellents and put it along with the fabric? That technology only you and me can work. Same way, generally we forget that you do have ICAR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research. Now you may say, what work can we do for agriculture? You have basically, since I've been working in the area of control release, sustain release, many technologies can be developed, micro-encapsulated technologies for volatile oils, which can definitely be sprayed on these agricultural crops. So instead of having pesticides, which are very, very harmful, one can work with natural products. And field trials, of course, have to be taken. So we work very closely with sulfur mills, which is an agriculture dominant industry, and really worked very well, transferred many technologies to them. And in this area, definitely you can have more patentable technologies. And so is with Atomic Energy Regulatory Board and CSIR, etc. Now, some snapshots, because Dr. Payal requested me, focus on which grants are available for females. So obviously, if you can see, this is a snapshot of Department of Science and Technology taken today. There are many proposals which are invited throughout the year. And there are some for which there are calls. Right now, today, there was no call proposal, which was currently open. But once a call opens, you need to write the project and submit within a given time. And the scrutiny of these proposals is done very, very fast. But those which are acceptable throughout the year, of course, are also being evaluated. So we do have for women WISE Fellowship for PhD. We have WISE Scope Fellowships and Vidushi. It's a very important scheme, which is for people like us. People up to the age of 62 can apply. Sometimes near retirement, you do not have funds. So under WISE Kiran, all these, grants are open. So what does this particular WISE Kiran undertake? So why is it known as WISE? Because Women in Science and Engineering, that is a short form of WISE. So under that, one can have fellowships for PhD. Many people feel that whether we can do PhD later in life. Can you see that women in age group up to 45 years are eligible to apply? So in case you've had any break and you were not able to pursue PhD, you can still do PhD, register. And the fellowship initially is given for 3 years, but it is extendable up to 5 years duration. Also, for women who belong to SC, ST or PH category, physically handicapped category, this age limit is relaxed. By 3 years, it is relaxed. So obviously, if you go to each of these sites, you will get wealth of information. What is WISE Scope? This particular fellowship, basically works on societal challenges. This is a program of DST which aims to provide opportunity to women scientists and technologists who have already completed their PhD. And they would like to utilize their knowledge, their expertise for the benefit of society. So under this, it could be any type of projects which you can write. Obviously, now since we are in healthcare, always we can do something for society. So we'll come under this number 5, health, food and nutrition. So maybe you don't want to take a full-time job, but you do want to do research at a particular institute. This can be done. So that, instead of spending 8 hours a day, within 5 hours a day also, if you can get the project going as per the timelines which you have provided to government, it's perfectly fine. SERB, Science and Engineering Research Board, also has something for women. So SERB Power, if you've heard, this is a scheme which encourages emerging as well as eminent women researchers for individual-centric, competitive mode of research funding. Obviously, you need to find out frontiers area of science and engineering. You can't do work on age-old problems. Come with something new. Eligibility is, obviously, PI has to be there. Co-PI also should be there. In almost all the research grants, co-PIs are preferred. Both have to be Indian citizens. Applicant should hold a regular position. So it's not like earlier case where you have break in career and you're coming back, applying for fellowship within the institute, working on only research. No. Now here applications from all central institutes like IITs, ICERs, etc. are acceptable, but also from state university colleges and private academic institutes. So there are two levels, level 1 and level 2. So those who belong to private colleges, etc. can apply in level 2. Difference is only in the funding amount, but that funding amount is also a great amount. It's not less. Keep in mind that male co-PI is not allowed in Power Grant Research Scheme. So you need to identify a female if you are wanting to write a project. PhD, your own PhD guide also cannot be co-PI. So these norms are important. No, many times in scrutiny, initial scrutiny itself, many people are out because they have not paid attention to all these points. So find out someone else because they want you to have some different ideas than whatever you already worked on. Typically, if a research guide works in a particular area, over a period of time, that becomes their area and therefore it becomes your area too. So in order to advance the technology to the next level, we need that co-PI is not your PhD guide. Also, PIs who have already got Power Grant are not allowed to apply again. So this gives chance to others. JC Bose Fellows and PIs who have completed 2 core research grants are not applying. So people like me will not fit in here. So that also gives you chance to apply and get Power Research grants. Number of co-PIs should not exceed 2 per project. Budget under equipment head is limited to not more than 14 lakh for tier 2. That means for private colleges, state universities, etc. If total limit is 30 lakhs, of which equipment cannot be more than 14 lakhs. So this is a continuation of that same slide, and you can see that they've given you name of program coordinator, program officer. If you have any doubts, you can talk to them and find out how to go about this particular grant. So our government in particular is promoting all women to do research and do research effectively. These grants are really very, very handy. Coming to DBT, again, this page screenshot I have taken today. And you can see that many grants are opened in DBT, of which if you have to look at for women researchers, this number 3 grant, biotechnology career advancement and reorientation. It's known as BioCare program for women researchers is open. It's open till December end. So you should open these links, read what is given, and if you are really following the norms and you have very, very brilliant ideas, there's no reason why you shouldn't be getting these grants. So this is what has been given under BioCare. All those who are Indian are eligible, Indian women, nationals. Duration of project maximum 3 years. So for 3 years you will be supported. Obviously fellowship would be provided, and fellowship norms are same as fellowship norms of DST DBT. So it's a good amount. So please see that you fit into life sciences. You know, many people feel that I am not doing any biotechnology related work, not playing with bacteria, yeast, fungi, algae, whatever. So I don't fit. Answer is no. Actually, you do fit because you are working in life sciences. Life sciences and health sciences go hand in hand. So please do apply for BioCare too. And once you have the seed funding, you have developed the proof of concept, now you know that it's time to move forward, BIRAC provides you grants. See these grants which are open, last date of submission for almost all of them is end November. Today's, I think it's almost done, right? BIRAC announces proposals under PACE. Under PACE, you can develop a proof of concept. If it is done with the industrial partner, meaning both options are given. One, that you develop on your own the idea, and another is with industrial partner. If there is industrial partner, they really get good rating. Being on the other side, I have seen that says that already you have identified a partner and that partner is ready to take your technology. So it moves really very fast. Then there are BIPP grants and SIBRI grants, SBI, RI grants. Now, BIRAC holds your hand. It gives you first DBT grant, right, which will be maybe up to 30 lakhs, maybe 50 lakhs. Then it gives you PACE grant. You develop your technology further, 50 lakhs. Then it's ready to give you BIPP. It goes above a crore. And then you can say that if I can make sure that scale up is possible and industry is ready to take to clinical trial level, it will give you more. No limit. So there is a mechanism within government to definitely support those who have ideas and who can work in the thrust area which our country has set. So if your interests match with country's interest, definitely there's no looking back. I was talking about PACE. PACE is nothing but promoting academic research conversion to enterprise, right? The short form is PACE. So as I told you, you have two components. One is academic innovation research and other is a contract research. So under academic innovation research, projects with well-established proof of principle, which can lead to some prototype, will be funded. So you can do some exploratory research here. 2 years is a project duration and you get about 50 lakhs. As I told you, non-recurring cost must not exceed 10% of the total cost. So keep this in mind. Many people I have seen of late, many people have started applying, people as they are knowing, getting to know it better, people have started applying for phase 2, power 2. ICMR is another national granting authority, Indian Council of Medical Research. And today, only this is open, this call is open, and it's a very important call for any one of you who believe that they have idea which has not been tried all over the world. So first in the world challenge, and lot of benefits. In fact, I've got calls from many of the medical colleagues, and it's really nice if you can work with clinicians. They exactly know what is needed. They know what they are using and why it is not working. So they can identify something where work has to be done. So at least with 3 colleagues, I've got calls or collaborators to write first in world kind of an idea. And many of our technologies which we have developed, right, including drug stent, which Dr. Payal talked about, was first in world type of technology. No one was using biodegradable polymers when we coated them on these stents. Now world over people have started using. So likewise, there are many for which we have patents, not only Indian patents, we have US patent, Europe patent. So all of them are first in world kind. So that was about national funding agencies. Coming to international funding agencies. Some of them are mentioned here, like UKRI, UK India Education and Research Initiative. You need to find a UK university. We had a project where we had 2 people from University of Bradford and 3 were from ICT. And the program really is very good because you can arrange international seminars under this. There can be staff exchange, there can be student exchange. In our case, we had worked on a technology which we scaled up using PAT tools in University of Bradford. And if you're using PAT tools and the technology works the same way it worked at R&D, it gave us confidence that it can go to industry and the technology was transferred to industry. So UKRI is really good initiative. You do have from Germany DFG and DAD. So under this, there are so many fellowships which are given even to students. People are not aware about thousands of fellowship per year are given. Rather, I was just checking, it says German Academic Exchange Service supports 1 lakh students. So they are like from throughout world. So Indians do have a very, very big chance. They support to the tune of 1,200 euros and also provide travel. Then you do have Indo-US, IUS is Indo-US Science and Technology Forum. ICT was a recipient of even this grant, wherein you can have 1 coordinator from India, 1 coordinator from US university, and like UKRI, you can do research or you can also do international symposia. So we had written 1 grant where we did a very important and great, I would say, Indo-US international symposia. When you do that in a focused area, all those speakers, whom you invite, they become your collaborators. So who stops you from writing? No one stops you. All you need to do is identify who's working in your area. CEFI prize for France, like you have UKRI from UK, Indian US Science and Technology Forum between India, US, CEFI prize India, France, and you have Matsume from Japan. So likewise, slide you can see, this is a list, of course, of Indian ones. But these are the funding agencies which are from all over the world. Welcome Trust. When Welcome Trust gives you fund, 4-year PhD studentship, UK, Ireland, anyone you can make partners. They give you all the consumables required plus 80,000 pounds for 4 years. Only interviews are taken, nothing else. And those people who get Welcome Trust research grant, in India, believe me, they are the ones who will have Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize, then there'll be INSA Fellows and other fellows of national academies. Because again, this particular grant requires that ideas have to be really very novel, and basic research people need to work hand in hand with those people who are working in applied areas. Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, those who have done PhD here in India can seek this particular fellowship and do postdoctoral fellowship in Germany. So all again what you require is an invitation from your German collaborator. Like you have Welcome Trust supporting you, even Von Humboldt Foundation will support you. And again here you are getting very, very high amount of fellowship plus consumables, plus travel, plus visa charges. So you are covered in all the ways. And once you are back in India, they have their own forum meeting very often. So imagine forum meeting. So all over India, whoever have got Alexander von Humboldt Foundation's fellowship, they then start collaborating with one another. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, many of you do not know that all what is required for Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation grant is one para writing. Your research grants, at least you are writing in pages, right? Here, if you go to Bill and Melinda Gates website, see which projects have been funded, you'll see that most of them are those which can help society in a better way. So like our project which got funded with Bill and Melinda Gates for $100,000 was where we had written a nasal vaccine for brucellosis under One Health concept. But I know people who have written ICT on water-free commodes and their project has got funded. So requirement is if there is no water in years to come, how will you flush? So basically, all I'm trying to tell you is if you have any one idea how you can change the future, that is the place to write projects. There are many projects. I'm sure this presentation I can pass on, to APTI Maharashtra State. I've earlier given it under APTI heading 2 during COVID time, but now I have updated it because the need was there, right? BRICS, you saw earlier, it is between Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. So many countries, when multiple hands work together, the output would be different. And believe me, once you start writing to people, there are many people who are waiting. Many people who want to work with India. Everyone knows that future is India power only. You have Indo-Russian, you have Indo-Australian, Indo-Norway, Indo-German. So these calls are open. You need to check, why can't we keep our DBT, DST tabs open and see what's there every day? If you are we so keen, people complain that they do not get grants. Looking at this, do you think that grants are not available? There are many funding agencies from where grants are available. Only thing is, you need to think out of your comfort zone. Our problem is that we start reading papers and then one particular paper we like, okay, we'll also work in the same direction. So if that kind of work has been done, why can't you think much beyond that? Whatever has not been done, write projects in that. No, so many people, from the pharmacognosy side can benefit if they write with people who are working in pharmaceutics and pharmacology, because they are aware as to how extraction needs to be done. They may not be aware what could be the right kind of formulation. So formulation people can help them. And once the system is ready, of course, it has to be tested. So people now need to do multidisciplinary research or interdisciplinary research also if need arises. But self-centric behavior needs to change. These are some more grants. You do have Hamid visiting fellowship. Imagine this is Dr. Hamid from Sipla, and in his name, other country has started a fellowship. That's an honor. That's an honor, definitely. Because Sipla has really taken up challenging work and provided cost-effective solutions. So likewise, we'll see many grants in future on Indian names, because many companies, it's not that I can count them on fingers, but Sun Pharma, Zydus, Torrent, Aurobindo, so many are working. Dr. Reddy's are working day in and day out. And who is working there? Your students, right? So why can't you all talk to your own students and see whether you can work together? So academia, industry has to work together. And I would say academia, industry, and clinicians. If that trio is complete, definitely industry would be ready to take your solutions which you provide. Coming to research students, there are travel grants available, scholarships and awards, fellowships, of course, for pursuing research, as also exchange programs. So you do have funding agencies like UGC giving you institutional PhD fellowships. Of late, many of these fellowships are not coming because they require your university to be Section 12B. DST, Inspire program, it is for those who are merit holders. So merit holder of any university gets a red carpet treatment in ICT. If you are university ranker 1, you need not give ICT entrance exam, and directly an interview would be held to check whether you have good research acumen, and you would be taken. So DST supports Inspire Fellow. And really, I've been fortunate enough that every 2 years, one Inspire Fellow joins lab. And believe me, when you have university rankers, their basics are definitely much better than others. GPAT rankers may not be as good as university rankers. University rankers have understood the subject matter very well. So definitely Inspire Fellows get about 45,000 per month as fellowship. which is great. CSR, ICMR give SRF, so does DBT. Even US India Forum under Fulbright Narrow Fellowships provides you grant. So Fulbright Fellowship, when we talk about, potential host again has to be identified. You need to take a letter from them. It gives you visa, J1, gives stipend, gives accidental coverage, gives round trip travel. So you are covered in all the ways if you are getting Fulbright Narrow Fellowship. Same is the case with Welcome, as I've told you earlier. And DST SERBs, CII, very, very important. If you identify industrial partner who is ready to take your technology, industry partner gives around 5 lakhs per annum to government. Government puts equivalent money, and through Confederation of Indian Industries, this grant, Prime Minister Fellow gets 93,000 rupees per month while doing PhD. How many of staff members are getting that? And again, we are lucky. In my lab, currently 4th Prime Minister Fellow is working. From the time this fellowship has been introduced, we've been able to identify companies who want to take our work further. And definitely one company is tent making company, but others are which are making topical dosage form. And now I have another one which makes cosmetics. So all you have to do is identify people who can give 5 lakh per year. That's nothing for industry. Believe me, right now I have a startup who is willing to give. This particular project has to be, all the online application has to be done by student. So a lot of financial things are asked, so which you need to take from company and upload it. There's another fellowship which is if you are single girl child, your parents' only child, you don't have siblings. Single girl child scheme, under this you get, its amount is small, but still, it is worth mentioning, around 36,000 rupees under single girl child Indira Gandhi scholarship, it is known as now. But age should not be more than 30 years. Distance education is not covered. There are about 3,000 scholarships available. They give for 2 years around 36,000 per annum. So institute, can waive even the fee of these students because they are girl students. Incentive is that you can have in addition some other fellowship. So over and above the fellowship, you can get this. I told you about Inspire already. This is just a snapshot. First rank, gold medal in university is desirable. So we've had our own students who have excelled, who didn't want to go to US, UK, Europe. They stayed back. And they're very happy doing that. And then I have students even from JSS UT. I have students from South and also from SNDT University. One can go for short-term exchange programs like CEFIPRA, wherein you get Raman Charpak Fellowship. So students can do half PhD here, half in France. Same way JRD Tata Trust provides you short-term scholarships. And there are many others. So when we talk about British Council's great scholarship Undergrad, you get about 120,000 pounds. And there are 13 such fellowships or scholarships which are available per year, which are many. Newton Baba, wherein again you have to give expression of interest to nominate. About 20 PhDs are being sponsored from India, 20. And they go typically in their second or third year. So you've done some work, you go do some work in UK and come back and take degree from here. So this is actually under DST. Generally, it is, I've seen that typically students who have CSIR or NET or GATE qualified students, they get a Newton Baba. One of my students went on Commonwealth split side scholarship. 2-year work done in India. She went to UK, did work on microneedles, did total characterization part there. Work was in 2 parts. One was oral, one was transdermal microneedles. Animal studies also of transdermal, she did it there. Net result was UK collaborator was so happy that immediately PDF was offered and she's doing PDF there. So please do explore, you first identify students who would want to stay back in India to do some work, to gain experience. Some people don't have the means to go right in the beginning. Offer them these fellowships by writing to your own collaborators, which you can, if you don't have, you have to start somewhere. You're reading so many papers, start with writing to them. So this is snapshot of CEFIPRA, where people can go to France. Eligibility is ongoing PhDs. For 3 to 6 months, one can go in another country, do work, come back. Imagine if I'm working on some cosmeceuticals, France is the place to be, right? Finally, if you want to market something really novel in cosmetics, that is the place to be. So why not identify now? Almost all of these fundings have online applications. So portals are there. All you have to do is go to individual website, click on these, see what are their requirements and see whether you fit. Students and teachers can also have travel grants from DST, from SERB, from DBT, CSIR, ICMR. Some people do not know about ICS, known as, in fact, CICS, Center for International Cooperation in Science. That also gives you travel grants. So does Ratan Tata Trust. This is a snapshot that you can get grant even for organizing conferences, popular lectures. Eligibility is given here. Well, applications are acceptable throughout. This T here is travel. Okay. So application is acceptable throughout the year, but you need to make application, I would say 3 months in advance. Though it's written apply at least 2 months, it's better that you apply 3 months in advance because they have meetings every 3 months. After PhD, you can go for postdoc. Albert Einstein said that intellectual growth should commence at birth, cease only at death. Even people at my age can do postdoctoral fellowships. So it is that you take a sabbatical from your own institute, go and get exposure, working exposure in some other lab. Again, see, almost all the funding agencies are giving you postdoctoral fellowships. And these postdoctoral fellowships are to the tune of, 55,000 and above per month. If you are doing it in India. So many times, as I told you, there are I had a student who came on DS Kothari postdoctoral fellowship. She was from IISC, number 1 NIRF, Indian Institute of Science. Husband shifted to Mumbai for a job. She didn't want to take up any assignment for 2 years. We wrote a project together. She got the postdoctoral fellowship and she did extremely well here. So 55,000 per month rather than just sitting at home. In fact, my publication, many of the publications, she edited so very well, and in her tenure, the number really went very high because she could coordinate with students in my absence too. So these postdoctoral fellows, even abroad, they are doing their own research project, but helping the mentor in their daily assignments. So obviously, you can have good postdoctoral fellows and they can give different kinds of input. For example, we used to discuss very often on research projects which we used to write together, right? It's always good to have third person's point of view. So likewise, national postdoctoral fellows are also there. Kothari fellows get for 3 years about 55,000. Age limit is there, 45 years, of course. And in addition to the fellowship which they get, institute also gets 1 lakh per year. So contingency, definitely is required to do research. So, and it's open throughout the year. So one can definitely write. In DST SERB, almost same thing. Only thing is you get 2 lakh per annum. So 2 lakh per annum is a good amount to do research. HRA and 55,000 rupees fellowship you get. 1 lakh per annum. Overheads are also given. So institute definitely benefits. There are many early career research fellowships. Now you've finished your PhD, you've done postdoc, maybe postdoc abroad. You want to come back, or you are in the country and want to do research. DST gives Swarna Jayanti, fellowship to the young scientists, about 30 to 40 years. You get 25,000 per month over and above your salary. Over and above your salary, 25,000 per month. Plus 5 lakh per annum research grant. You cannot take it for more than 5 years. But that's okay. By then you have established yourself. JC Bose National Fellowship, this people up to 68 years can apply. So I fit into this category. Again, 5 years relaxation is done generally. Here also you get 25,000 over and above your salary, but you get 15 lakh per annum. Imagine getting 15 lakh per annum for 5 years. Overheads to the institutes are also available. Same way, now you have APJ Kalam National Fellowship, which I'm humbled to say I was recipient of. An APJ Kalam Fellowship also gives you 25,000 per month over and above your salary. And it gave me 15 lakh per annum for 3 years, consecutive years, plus overheads. So this way your lab facilities get built up and you are getting a motivation to do more. You have Ramanna fellowships, which gives major support for equipment. Most of these earlier ones don't support for equipments, but Ramanna fellowships, they do support infrastructure. Then there's a base fellowship program, which is basis Bhaskar Advanced Solar Energy Fellowship. 3 to 12 months, but then you have to work in years. DBT has, on similar lines, Khurana Nirenberg Scholars Program, and this is really giving almost everything you will desire. Meaning, as I said, per month fellowship over and above salary, plus your consumables, plus contingency, plus your uh, travel if you want to do, because here what is required is Indian scientist goes and works in US for some time. So all the expenses in US are also covered. The only requirement is you have to come back. So you can go to NIH, National Institute of Health, for 2 to 3 years, right? And then come back to India. Ramalinga Swami fellowships is for those people who have gone abroad and want to make a comeback. And that's why you'll see that all your ICERs, NIPERs, IITs are filled with Ramalinga Swami fellowship. This is for reversing the brain drain. People have gone there, they've taken experience, they are not getting any outlet to come back. They would like to come back, have their kids settled in India, right? But government has identified them and they bring them back and place them well. This is a snapshot of Welcome Trust. I told you, it funds you at every stage, early career, intermediate, seniors. So senior people definitely get everything, which is because they've established themselves, and funding agencies are confident that they'll utilize the money. So they get 10 lakh contingency, they can travel for the meetings, they get enough, even support staff, including postdoc, up to 4. If you're doing international research, it will give you money for that, give you money for major equipment. So early career ones don't get support for major equipment, but senior people do get. It's time that this also changes, because requirement is when you are starting. But definitely, they are not confident whether you'll be able to utilize the fund. Many times we've seen that colleges, institutes keep the fund and earn interest on it. Now government agencies have become smart. They are asking to return back the interest. Earlier, that interest money was utilized for some other purposes. These are the grants which are available to young investigators. When I say young investigators, up to 40 years, DST has fast track scheme for young scientists. Up to 17 lakh you can get under that. You have Boys Cast program, and many of young people, from ICT and other places also, I know they have gone abroad to get experience. You may want to learn 3D printing or 4D printing, go back, go there, learn, come back. Likewise, DBT also has RGYI, just like you have for young scientists in DST here, rapid grants are there. This funding agencies, many people do not know of. BARC, Baba Atomic Research Center. In fact, many of the private colleges get grant from BARC. Limit is up to 17 lakhs. If this amount goes up, there's another committee. But easily, if you are writing some projects of about 15 to 17 lakhs, it comes through. Condition is that you have to have someone as co-PI from BARC or institutes like INMAS at Delhi. So we've run many such projects. We do have Radiation Medicine Center in Mumbai with Tata Hospital. So you can have collaborators from there, or you can have it from Department of Atomic Energy itself. So this is a snapshot of RGYI. And obviously, what I want you to note is grants are available in medical, agricultural, animal biotech, environment, any of these category, industry category. So you and me are able to write under medical also, under agriculture also, under industry also, life sciences also. So identify what your project is and apply. These are some of the fellowships for young women scientists. I've already taken it, so I would like to skip it. There are fellowships for faculty position. Now this is important. One can become a DST Inspire faculty. If you have done PhD, apply for Inspire faculty. Only condition is that you will not get it in your same state. So I can take people from South, East, North, but not take people from Maharashtra state. So you should be willing. Thing is, again, cross-functional exchange government is promoting so that people all through India become competent. In DBT also you have such a grant, and so does Welcome Trust give you grant. So this is a snapshot for Inspire faculty scheme. You can see that you can directly apply even when you have submitted your thesis and are awaiting, degree is not been awarded, you can apply. Or it could be your institute submits a candidate list, or you know of someone who is president or fellow of academies in India or abroad, or your vice chancellors, they nominate you. Whatever be the case, there's one pool which goes from direct and nomination, another one which directly goes through central universities, of course, and then final selection is based on interviews. But such Inspire fellows are there, many in ICT. They get all the benefits of a regular teacher, but their salary is consolidated. So at the joining stage, you might get about 1 lakh per month, which is not bad, but you get your seed money for research, 5 lakhs per year, which no other faculty gets. So it's a very, very good entry point, I would say. For those of you who are really interested, students who are interested in doing teaching and research. These are the re-entry grant, meaning you've gone abroad, you want to come back. So Ramanujan, Ramalinga Swami, Welcome Trust, all of you, all of these give you money to come back. With your salary, with your research kitty too. Already discussed. Faculty has, again, travel grants from similar sources like students. Now, there are so many grants which have been discussed, you may ask. It's difficult to keep track. So easy is that you log into indiabioscience.org. indiabioscience.org, continuously there will be calls. Complete database of upcoming funding calls. So this is a very, very good, I would say, website. Infrastructure-wise, you have FIST program, RUSA program. Welcome Trust also gives you infrastructure. So many times, private universities also need to build their infrastructure. So Welcome Trust grant is available there. For faculty exchange also, you have these programs, UKERI, BCA, Fulbright, TechIP. TechIP has given ICT lot of money. Under that, a lot of renovation of labs have taken place. Infrastructure has become really very, very strong. These are award grants. When you say award, this money is not taxable. So INSA award, 50,000 rupees. DAE award, 17 lakhs for research, of course. And then British Petroleum also gives you some grants. DBT has Innovative Young Biotechnologist Award, Fulbright Nehru, James McNall. Lady Tata has 25,000. So this also goes over and above salary for 5 years. Organization wise, you can write for seminar and conferences and get funding. Up to 10 lakh easily you can get. Obviously, they ask you for a lot of details. Right in the beginning, you should know your speakers. You should know whether they hold visa or not. Sometimes nowadays government agencies tell you to do booking also through their own specific agents only, which might create some issues at times, but you need to be continuously in talks with them. Mod most of you would be applying, I'm sure, but you do have grants from MHRD and DST also for infrastructure and for Center of Excellences. Nowadays, for innovation opportunities, there are many grants, and you can see that BIRAC, DST gives n number of grants. This slide is important. Some of them I've already given you the agency names, so you can go to their sites and check it up. We do have initially a very well established one, two in IIT Mumbai itself, but now our own ICT also has a incubation cell. Even NMIMS has an incubation cell. NCL has an incubation cell. And almost when your government is encouraging, that rather than doing job, can we create some entrepreneurs who can create jobs for many? So that is a purpose. These are some of the links for consolidated databases, which you can go through once you get this PowerPoint. Now I'm moving to the next part, that is proposal writing strategies. This is equally important. No, you've got grant, but unless you write a good proposal, it's very difficult to get a grant. So how do you write? You need to identify first whether there is any need for developing X product. And as I have told you earlier, you need to be in constant talks with clinicians and with industry people. If there is a need, definitely that becomes your field of research. You need to know whether you are writing a project where you will be developing proof of concept, meaning it's at ideation stage, and you will work on it and say that it is workable or not workable, or you already develop proof of concept and it is going to the advanced stage. Because depending on that, you have to give budget. For proof of concept, you do not get money in more than 15 to 20 lakhs. But for advanced, there's no limit. Again, if you're developing proof of concept, 2 years is a good tenure. 3 years also. But if it is going to advanced, if you're doing only say scale up and clinical trials, not more than 2 years. Also, you need to see whether there is any need for collaboration or you are self-sufficient. But I always tell people it's good to have collaborators. There's so much shifting nowadays. People move from one place to another place. Government agencies are not allowing those funds to move in many cases if the project has started. So if there is a co-PI, at least the money will remain with the institute where it was availed. One has to have a very, very strong research hypothesis. If there is no hypothesis, obviously no one is interested in funding you. For that, you have to do a background search really very, very properly. And that background search should be of last 5 years. People look at literature, but they forget about patents. So look at what is available in market, what is available in literature and in patents, and then find out if gaps are present and how will you fill the gap. That should form your research hypothesis. Availability of resources. No, you have already 5 HPLCs from the same government agencies given. They have all the record nowadays, okay? So you cannot ask 6 HPLC unless you can justify that. So they look at whether you have resources, what resources you have, over and above those resources, what can the funding agency give you. So be very, very careful. We have to supply list of equipments, instruments available. They do cross-check. So you cannot be smart and remove, that it is not available. Now data is available. Need for manpower. Do you require 2 research fellows or you require only 1? If it is a 3-year project which is not multidisciplinary, 1 research fellow is enough for 3 years. But if it is multidisciplinary, you need 1 fellow given to the other PI also. If the project only is of 6 months, is the fellow required? Can you do it with existing fellows? Accordingly, please form the budget. Always the goals have to be devised based on time. As I told you, 6-month proposal, which we had written during COVID time. Why? Because there was an urgency to develop a diagnostic kit. And we had a very good colorimetric hit. We said we'll be able to develop it in 6 months, and we didn't ask for any project fellow. The existing students would do it. At the same time, we wrote a project during COVID time for vaccine development for 3 years. And with other institute which was having expertise in virology. So obviously we needed a fellow to make formulation. They needed a fellow to do testing. 2 fellows were asked, 3-year project. So I'm trying to tell you, look at your project, what the project needs are, accordingly ask for manpower and ask for timelines. Project outcomes. Typically people write 10 project outcomes. No. From a given project, make broad outcomes and give only 1 or 2 very critical outcomes which you'll be able to tackle. Otherwise, the comment would be your project is over-ambitious. This part we have already dealt with, national and international agencies funding. How to select where to apply? This is one question many people ask me. I've told you, given you indiabioscience.org, look at what are the calls, but read the calls, read the grant proposal call. You should know the scope of that grant and see whether you can fit into that call. If not, there are calls throughout the years, right? Apply in those. If you are applying in those where there's a proposal call, use keywords from the call itself. Then there are better chances at shortlisting. Just to give you an example, there's a call for sea buckthorn. I had not heard of that name then. Sea buckthorn. I opened DBT. I Googled it. A sea buckthorn is a layberry. And there's a call, what can you do with sea buckthorn? Because that fruit was going waste. It's a seasonal fruit, but very, very nutritious, but wasted. So I knew that many people will write on pharma. I wrote on cosmetics, anti-aging. And we got it. So identify what they are looking at. And then you give your deliverables through your ideas. Almost all people, the moment they see any plant, they write anti-inflammatory, antioxidant potential. And that also plant which has colored fruits. Think outside the box. Expand the utility value. Because berries, obviously, if they are berries, fresh berries, they need to be dried and kept. So where can you use it to maximum is what you need to check. See whether you are applying at something which is at the ideation stage, proof of concept, or as translation. I gave you an example earlier also, right? For example, many people are not aware that there's a Gandhi Young Technology Innovation Grant. After I started talking about it, now I see some entries from pharma, but believe me, there are still not many. IITs are applying, others are applying in pharma, but pharma institutes are not applying. So they give you grants for socially relevant research. We had made anti-HIV product using natural actives. The person is awarded by President of India. What more a student would want, in their PhD tenure to be awarded by President of India. I had another one where we had written about, again, vaccine, which got awarded. And the third one was where we wrote a diagnosis for brucellosis. That also got awarded. So whatever times we have written GYTI grant, it has got awarded by President of India. But as I said, you write for socially relevant research. Same is the case with Bill and Melinda Gates. So how to start? Read the grants that are funded by that particular agency. Go to their website, see whom have they funded. What are the projects? And ideal is go to BMG site and read what they have funded. From there you will get many ideas for your own research also, let me tell you. Read the guidelines and then make the template. For writing proposal, you need to be very, very specific. It cannot be vague. Nothing can be vague there, okay? You should know what are the project outcomes. And as I said, 2 or 3 outcomes, if you are able to achieve in 3 years, that's more than enough. So if those are the outcomes, you will automatically be focused. Identify collaborator. Now know your audience. No, this means that know which funding agency you are writing to. And typically we do have almost basic sciences people sitting there, even if you're written anything in applied sciences. So your knowledge base, knowledge domain in that basics should also be very, very clear. Be up to date. Many times I've seen people write a project and the references given are age old. No. That can become a premise for rejecting your proposal. And follow guidelines. Now there's no scope because you are filling online. Earlier we were submitting hard copy, so people used to write. Now when they say 200 words, after 200 words, reviewer will not be able to read, even if you have written 500. So keep that in mind. If it's written 200, not a single word extra. Less is okay. Otherwise, it automatically gets cut. You need to organize your proposal as title, summary. Some places it's known as introduction, some places as abstract. Then comes a hypothesis, that's a problem statement. Give it as a problem statement. It should not again look like introduction. So obviously, when you do literature survey, you know what is the unmet need. That unmet need should be your problem statement. And of course, you need to write the methodology in detail, very, very detailed. This is expected. Manpower requirement. You need to give idea about budget and timelines, and then the expected outcomes. One by one, we'll look at all. Title. It should be simple and original, yet catchy. You can't just say development and evaluation of anti-inflammatory gel. It is not specific, right? It is not even catchy. So, which is that dosage form which you are making? Why can't you start with that? Obviously, keep in mind it is not English skill, but let evaluator know that this project means a lot to you. Follow character limits. Character is this follow has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. Right? Many times they give word limit, many times they give character limit. Of course, a great title captures the evaluator's attention with its uniqueness. This is same, if maybe in the last meet, unfortunately, I didn't get the notice, I would have attended and known what was covered there for the research paper, right? This would have been covered. So what is true with research paper is also true with research proposal. Great title captures evaluators' attention with its uniqueness. So recently we wrote one review article on DNA origami. Now, we could have written folding DNAs into nanocarriers. Now, origami we know is a paper folding technique, right? We wrote DNA origami. So obviously people will open it and see what does this mean. So you have to create interest. That is what should be there in your title. Project summary, abstract or origin, meaning any name agencies will call it. This is giving first impression about your project. So I tell people, write everything first and then go to abstract, because this should give crux of your project. It forms a very, very strong framework. If you have preliminary work, definitely project goes through. So give some preliminary work. If there is a published work, more better. If it is patented, still better. Abstract also has to be very succinct, meaning it should not have anything which is not required. Very, very specific and very, very focused. Highlight the need, approach, methodology, and outcomes, everything into one. That is abstract. Why this product, what approach we have used, what methodology could be used, and what are the outcomes expected, all in one. And that's why it's better to write that at the end. And use relevant keywords. It's important because by keyword search, your evaluators are going to check what work already is present in that domain. Coming to problem statement, you need to write the purpose, where this research would be utilized. Why do you think it is important to do this research? Meaning, highlight novelty by giving a convincing rationale. It's very, very important. Problem statement gives a brief about unmet need, how you possess expertise in that area, and how do you plan to meet this unmet need by whatever aims and objectives you have of this particular project. So when you're doing literature survey, I already told you last 5 years, data has to be presented. Not only national data, international data. Not only reviews, research papers, also patents. And be selective and critical. You can be critical. This has been done, but in this paper, this has not been done. And therefore, it is a need. Be very critical. Follow consistent reference style. Some people write in introduction, some other reference style. Some other places, different reference style. It has to be same throughout. In fact, reviewer wants to know by reading literature review what work has been done and whether you are aiming to give something more. I tell people, read this proposal. It is SERB, high risk, high reward scheme proposal. Comes to very few people get it because it's risky project. But if it gets done, high rewards come through, right? So government has to be sure that they'll put in money. You may say that if it works, these are the things which India would gain. See here, it's written very well. Origin of the proposal is scientific rationale. Risk elements and rewards, give all the details. In review, you are looking at international status. Correct and faithful description is required. Not that you give all but hide one paper. People are not fools. Nowadays, everyone has access to all the tools. See that faithfully you give whatever has been done, national, international, both. Then highlight the importance by giving new area or gap which you will be solving. It's very important to bring out the novelty. If project is location specific, what is the basis also has to be highlighted. So in this, you enlist clear, focused, realistic objectives. Give details of how each of the objectives will be assessed. What would be the most suited methodology? Give alternate options. If this doesn't work, what would I do? Not that the project ends. I have taken money, but I can't do because it doesn't work. Always have alternate options. It's a very good idea to have alternate options. And justify whatever past experience you have. See that in this project narrative, you cover everything. Rationale, overview, the design of your research, whatever outcomes are there, whatever alternates are there. So see, same thing is given in SERB, methodology. Details of how each of the objectives will be addressed. This section must be detailed and have clear plans, not vague and generalized statements. Don't say particle size will be determined. Determine using laser diffraction technique is more specific. Why laser diffraction over other techniques? Mention that. So as much as possible detail. If it is multicentric project, give the flow chart, how the flow would be. I will develop, it will go for analysis to my co-PVI, again it will come back to me. I'll put it on stability, it will go back to analyst. So that flow chart has to be shown. Give time schedule, give suggested plan of action, all the summaries, whatever they are asking for, as also environmental impact. Nowadays, this is really becoming very important. We are talking about zero carbon. So see that it is taken care, carbon footprint rather is taken care. I've already talked about personal. See that you keep it in line with what budget you are asking and then what time frame you are actually asking for. Whether you want a JRF or a SRF also should be clear. People feel that right in the beginning you can get only JRF. No. But many projects have got directly SRFs. So it's not that 2-year JRF, then SRF. It depends on whether you have good workforce, right? If you have people who are competent, who have worked in industry and now want to come back, they are experienced. So you can't give them less salary, right? They have the expertise to do work also. Justify tenure and the budget. I've already talked about this also, that, basically the timeline has to match with the budget you are asking. 6-month project, and if you ask 15 lakhs, no one will give you. See that all these things are taken care. Ensure feasibility. While you are doing this in whatever timeline, very, I have been ambitious and I've said that in 3 months I'll complete work, but it takes 3 years. If it is not feasible, don't give those timelines. In fact, that can be again a clause for rejecting your project. Too ambitious. must reflect coordination of activities. Always the tenure, whatever you are putting, has to reflect how the activities would be done. So I told you, making a flow chart simplifies many things. Or make a PERT chart. We call it as planning chart, right? Wherein activities could be overlapping, but you can convince the other person that this can be done in the designated time. Always keep buffer time. And institutes, sometimes instruments, definitely, if you're not taken AMCs, they conk off. Keep buffer time. Again, here I tell people, whatever you have taken, in the equipment, talk to that person right in the beginning and take 5-year warranty. Make warranty also part of that AMC, part of your purchase, so that later on, you are not stuck. Take budget which is appropriate and necessary. Acquire quotes much in advance. Many granting agencies are now asking you to provide quotes. Quote of equipment, instrument, whatever you are asking, right? So they should be acquired and kept ready. And justify whatever resources you will be using. Comply with upper limit. So all the agencies have given how much fellowship they can give. Don't ask if they can give only 35,000 plus HRA, and if you ask 50,000, no one is going to give. So this is how you have to give list of facilities which are there in the parent situation, parent institute. So give exact details. Also, they will ask you and recheck. You may not have, but COPI may have that facility, and you are asking for that one again. You are in the wrong, right? By asking, because your own COPI has it. So don't do those things. And of course, expected outcome. Follow the character limits. See that you give objective-wise outcomes. Right in the beginning, you would have given certain objectives. So outcomes have to be hand in hand with those objectives. List or chart format. You can list 1, 2, 3, or you can give it as a chart. It's okay. And all the outcomes should be timeline based. Deliverables. Nowadays they ask deliverable at end of 1 year, deliverable at end of 2 years. Earlier, no one was asking, but now they are assessing. They are calling you for yearly presentation. If you are done well, they give you second year grant. Otherwise, you don't get second year grant, right? So make deliverables also timeline based. So right in the beginning, if you know what you can deliver, put those deliverables. First year, put less deliverables. Justify the project rationale overall, enlist the relevant endpoints, reflect on the completeness, and give alternate approaches. So contingency planning always have to be there. And this should come in the concluding remarks. Some tips: read call for proposals carefully. Plan your proposal writing and compilation well ahead of time. Generally, people start putting the data towards a deadline and everything gets jammed. Network gets jammed and you are not able to. So go on. I suggest people, if you know what is a funding agency, just go on putting ABC3, whatever, to see what they are going to ask. Sometime PDF gives all the details. Sometimes PDF doesn't give all the details. When you start doing online filling, you realize, oh my God, this was also required. Then you run. So it's better that start filling well ahead of deadline. Check funding agency's website for timely updates. Many times they give you extension. Many times they do early closure also. I have been victim to both early closure as well as, I would say, extension of deadlines welcome, but early closure meaning you have lost the opportunity. For online submission, register immediately, familiarize with the submission process. As I said, go on filling dummy information on the portal so that you can assess all the sections and you exactly know what templates, what formats are required. Use PubMed, Google, PatentScope, these tools for literature review. While you are writing all these international, national status, identify national researchers actively, because those would be the people who will be sitting on your committee. So it's very important. You cannot afford to miss any of the references, please. Outline the milestones and outcomes carefully. Perform thorough grammar and spell check. This can put many reviewers off. They'll not select because you've not written properly. Meaning simple Grammarly you can use, right, to do grammar and spell check. Short presentations detailing overview, objective, timeline, and budget, they may ask. Many times after you submit the proposal, they'll ask you for a very short 5-slide presentation, which you have to just send them. On their own, they are evaluating, okay? So what should come on the slide also becomes equally important. I've already told you levels of funding are many and therefore the specific format will vary. Look at what is the format and go on submitting as per the format. Some quick case studies before I end, where we wrote proposal. So there was a SERB core research grant which we applied. So it was individual centric. Objective here was that scheme provides core research support to active researchers to undertake research and development in frontiers area. It required PI and co-PI. So very important in grants is also plagiarism. So you have to read these instructions very carefully. All what reviewers will be doing is para after para, they'll put in there, authenticate and search whether you copied from elsewhere. It could be from international source, it could be from national source. So project proposal has to be original. That was a requirement. And also they have given instruction as to how to apply online. So you need to check, and all the documents which are required, you can see here in download the template, everything was given beforehand so that you keep that ready when you are submitting. Once you have submitted, pre-submission file is generated. See that you read that file very carefully before pressing the submit button. So in this case, we had submitted the proposal on development and evaluation of a nano-carrier-based novel foot and mouth disease virus vaccine for non-parental delivery. You are seeing how specific the title is. It is not using a very high-ended language, not some word jargon, but clearly telling that I'll be making use of a nanotechnology and come up with a non-parenteral route for novel foot and mouth disease virus vaccine. So outcome obviously was that we got approval letter, but that was not the end. With this came that you have to submit within 20 days the following documents. You can see 1 to 7, 20 days time. So you need to keep almost all the documents ready. So talk to people who have already got these grants and get to know in advance. Many times, these things get stuck with your account department because they are not able to provide you with many details which are required. See, only 20 days time. If you don't submit in 20 days, your project is gone. Even though you have approval, it will not be sanctioned, the money will not come. So it is not done till it is done. Okay, like in documentation we say, right? So it is not done till documented. Same way, it is not done till done. Second case is Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation project, which we got. So we keep on reading. There was an opportunity, and that opportunity said that you need to come up with something under One Health. Now, One Health is coming up with a solution which can help animals as well as human beings. Believe me, before that, I had not heard of what is One Health. So once we read about it, we started looking which are those diseases which affect both humans and animals. We listed, we read, we brainstormed, and all that happens within the lab, because in lab we have people from now different areas. We have biotech people, we have analysts, we have chemists, we have pharmaceutical scientists, Sutix people. We do real good brainstorming and identify that there are many diseases on which you can work, I knew that many will submit under tuberculosis, but this stuck us, brucellosis, because it affects animals, and from animals, the disease comes to human beings. We need to pay attention, I told you, to details and have to give very, very crisp rationale. And here they said that you can have collaboration. So obviously, if you're making a vaccine, you need antigen. So we collaborated with Bombay Veterinary Institute. Submitted, of course, the outcome was good. This was a second project which we had submitted under BMG. First didn't come through. Within the same year, we submitted second one, and it was nano vaccine for brucellosis using green technology. So as I told you, it has to be novel. What I've told, I'll make a vaccine using green technology. And what we indicated there is One Health, brucellosis, and we indicated there is we will avoid cold chain transport. Believe me, this has given rise to another project of ours, which was during DBT COVID vaccine. We wrote on the similar lines and we got the project. Why? Because we had prior experience and we could deliver them. This was during COVID time. I told you they asked for presentation, and presentation has to be very, very succinct, very, very specific. Aim, rational, what is the data available, what funding you are requesting, what is the status of institute, your objectives, outcomes, and budget. They told us to give 5-slide presentation. So you need to be ready with 15 slides, talk to your collaborators, they'll give you another 15 slides, see how you can merge all that, and then come up with your own presentation. Again, outcome was good, but area review panel told us provide quotation, provide ethical approvals, bank details, so on and so forth. So it is not that your grant writing and getting is enough. What is also important is you can get award, but post award, how do you do financial distribution between two PI and co-PI, or between two PIs? And in many cases, I've had industry partner also. So we've done projects now, on foot and mouth disease. One was between us at ICT, another institute, which is a private college, Bharati Vidyapith, and then another one, which is IVRI, that's Indian Veterinary Research Institute at Bangalore, who are the only one who can give us antigens. So there I compromised. I said, okay, now I have so many students. It's okay if Bharati Vidyapith person, he was just starting his career. I said, you take student. I don't want instrument. I said, IVRI can take that. But total formulation and stability studies we will do, and therefore contingency which will be required, I will require it little more than other places. And they agreed. Everyone agreed because it was good for all. So you need to in advance talk about these, otherwise it can create bitter moments. Again, talk about research publication, which research publication you will be corresponding author, which you will be first author, and so on and so forth, right in the beginning. Patent, whether patent, who will be the inventors, whom will it be assigned? If industry is coming in, industry wants to be assigned, that's okay, you should agree to it. But be inventors, don't lose your opportunity to be inventor. And then reports have to be provided. So if every 6 months reports are being asked, see that at the end of 4 months you are ready with your project report and other collaborators are also ready. And then there is final project completion report. See that you submit these in time to close the project, otherwise next grant will never come. So I tell people, you read it as a third person And if you have a very good friend in whom you can confide, give it to that person to read it also, to ask n number of questions. Just by reading, they should be convinced that yes, it's worth submitting. And later on, if you get rejection after all this, don't be dejected. See that you work on it nicely, constructively, and resubmit. But at same time, don't resubmit to two places. I think with that, I end my presentations. And net result of submitting and getting these projects have been that we have so many projects in the market. Some are nano based. Almost all you will see were required for COVID. So with that, our motto has been to focus. I would end my presentation here and take questions if any.
Hello.
I hope I have tried to give what was expected from my end. And if you have any questions, please feel free.
Thank you, ma'am. We have few queries in the session, although most of them are saying that it was very informative. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
I can.
you're audible.
Yeah. So, and they have found that there was something in your presentation right for the youngsters to all who are in their senior, a session of experience. There are only few questions that have come in the chat box. I'll read for you. There was one query related to, some particular, I think, grants which are related to GPAT students. Is there something, ma'am? Because they are asking, is this all based on GPAT score?
Based on GPAT.
Yeah. Maybe they are talking
So,
about.
So typically, meaning that I can hear my own voice. I don't know why. Okay. Typically, it is that, in institutes like ICT, we take only GPAT qualified students. But if you're not GPAT qualified, many times through industry projects, other people can come in. So GPAT not qualified, but you are fit as far as interview is concerned and you have good research equipment, you can come in on any project. But government has not put that anywhere that only GPAT qualified people can write projects.
Thank you, ma'am. I think the query was same related to that non-GPAT students for grant as well as for fellowship. There's one query where they have asked students for any grant for PG lab development for equipments, that is CFC lab.
Can you repeat it? I'm not able to hear you, please.
Yes, I would repeat the whole question, ma'am, once again. So this is, good afternoon. Is there any grant or fellowship for non-GPAT students, specifically private college concerned students, for their thesis work? And second question to it is there any grant for PG lab development for equipments, that is CFC lab? So there are two queries. So first query, I think this question we have already answered.
So while actually doing PhD also, many of the students at ICT have written grants and BIREC supports them. So you can also get grants and get whatever is required. I told you, when GYTI, that gives you grant money which comes directly in your bank balance. Okay, it doesn't come to the institute. It directly comes to you. So you can utilize it for whatever your requirements are, can be used. So GYTI and even the BIREC grants are being utilized. And nowadays, under incubation, IIC Innovation Center, there are many newer grants which government is thinking right now. So I'm hopeful that in very short time they'll also be released.
And one more query. I think it is raised by Zamir Ghaffar Khan. I would unmute him if he wants to ask him. You can now unmute Zamir sir and ask the query. Okay, he is not present. Yeah, I think those were the only queries. Thank you, ma'am.
There's one query here in the chat box about when will the ICT entrance happen. So that please keep on checking the ICT website. We do it twice a year.
Payal madam, just one query is there from my side. Vandana
Yes,
madam. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Really, it was very informative and very because while thinking of a grant, initially we only think of UGC and DST or DBT, but you really open up all the horizons, and we are really surprised. मैं तो बोलता हूँ बचपन से लेके 55 तक everywhere grant is available. So what do we think for that? So one query is, ma'am, suppose we are having one very innovative idea in mind. So, but it is not for the from the pharmaceutical background. So, can we apply for that particular grant?
Yes, high risk, high reward. Anything can go.
And second, it is necessary to have some sort of publication in that particular area. Suppose you are applying for a grant.
For high risk, high reward, there won't be any publication. Therefore, you are right. You are giving the premise, and then you are going ahead. But for others, it is better if you have publications, or at least find co-investigators who have publications in that area. Because one question which as evaluators we have to answer is, does this person have expertise in this area? So my answer will be no if you have not published anything in that area.
So even copy, I suppose, having experience in that or having publication, that will be okay?
Yes, that's perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. So thank you, madam. Really, it was great. And you can see generally what happened in this type of lectures. Initially, attendance is almost 200 or more than 200. And that attendance is increasing, not decreasing, ma'am. And that is maintained constantly throughout the session. That is really great. So thank you very much from the APTI MS Maharashtra State for this great.
For that, APTI MS has to be lauded, I would say applauded, no? Because they have arranged this, so it is definitely credit goes to them.
What do you, Payal madam?
Ma'am, somebody has asked if there is any entrance exam for getting into PhD in ICT.
You know, your voice, no, Payal, I can't hear. There is any?
I would repeat the question again. Am I audible?
Please. Yeah.
Yeah. So the question is there any entrance exam for PhD in ICT?
Yeah, there is, obviously. So ICT has their own entrance exam, and I've already told you that we conduct it twice a year. So generally April, May, and then December. So that is a qualifying criteria to come in, right? But then I told you also that if you are a university ranker, right? If you are an Inspire Fellow, you can come on a red carpet. So it's like, then in that case, you need not qualify the exam.
There's one more question from Mohini Nikam. She's asking, can you please share the page of fellowship for women? I didn't understand which particular fellowship she talked about.
So someone has already put another link, YouTube link you can pass on. So they can pause it and see all the fellowships.
Yes, so I have put that link. We are live, so this will be available. So I would like to tell all others who are asking for the presentation that I have already shared the YouTube link where this particular presentation will be available throughout.
Yeah, you are good.
There are few Thanksgiving as well, which I would like to read. people are saying we are grateful today that we have got very valuable information. Truly amazing.
My pleasure to be of some.
So now I would request Vinita ma'am to extend the vote.
Am I audible?
Yes, Vinita ma'am.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. So on behalf of Women's Forum and Capacity Building Forum of APTI Maharashtra, I take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks. And I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed resource person, Dr. Vandana Patravale, Madam, for her valuable contribution to today's session. Madam, it was really a wonderful session, and even I learned so many things in this session. So, Dr. Patravale, Madam, as a distinguished professor at the Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences, ICT, Matunga, and a decorated researcher with numerous accolades to her name, your expertise has greatly enriched our understanding of funding opportunities and strategies for crafting compelling research proposals. Your elaborative and up-to-date insights have not only broadened our horizons, but also empowered us to approach research fundings with greater confidence and clarity. That clarity is really I really appreciate that. The practical strategies and guidance you shared will definitely help the aspiring researchers in their academic journeys. So we are truly privileged to have learned from someone of your stature and experience, and we deeply appreciate the time and effort you have invested in spite of your busy schedule in making this session a resounding success. Thank you once again for your dedication to advancing academic research and for inspiring us with your achievements. We hope to have the opportunity to learn from you again and again in future, ma'am. I also take this opportunity to thank Dr. Swaroop Lahoti, sir, for accepting the last minute request to be the guest of honor for today's session. APTI Maharashtra team proactively takes initiatives to organize such sessions for the teachers all across India. We are fortunate to have our young dynamic president, Dr. Rakesh Somani sir, who always stands as a big support for us. So I extend my thanks to the entire team along with our president, sir. A big thank to all the participants who have registered for this FDP and they are attending the sessions regularly and religiously. And we are thankful to you. Such event definitely needs an excellent communication. So big thank to all my organizing committee members, Dr. Payal Dande, Dr. Lovina Jain, and Dr. Vidya Busari for wonderful cooperation. So thank you again, everyone. And it was a great session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, really great.
Everyone, I would just let you know that the link for the test as well as for the feedback is already shared in the chat box. Please log in. The link will be active till 7 p.m. today. That is for 2 hours. Or yeah, it's 2 hours. And after that, it will be closed.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
No, minute, I would request everyone to please switch on their camera. If you would like
Yeah.
last screenshot. I would request all the participants to switch on their cameras. Take the screenshot. I would request Vinita ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Can I leave?
Thank you.
1 or 2 minutes more, ma'am. Because few people are asking for the feedback link again. So I've shared it. I just want to confirm if we have received. There are 2 links that we have shared. One is quiz and the other is for feedback. Please check if you have received. And same will be shared on the YouTube as well for you all to get from there. But active only till Anita ma'am, we cannot tackling its WhatsApp group because not all of them have joined for the session.
Yes.
Be only available on and on the YouTube for next 2 hours. It will be active for next 2 hours. Is there any other query? So, thank you so much, Vandana ma'am, for joining us and for giving such a great presentation. I think everybody is appraising it right in the YouTube as well as over here in the chat box, which you can see. And we will definitely, as Vinita ma'am said, we would like to have you further as well for many more sessions to come.
Success of this would be if I see many proposals getting approved. That would be the success.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And they have got motivated and they have got the direction and they will start working on the same. So we will all the best to everyone who has joined. Looking forward.
Thank you.
Seeing you all in the 4th session, which is going to be on next Saturday.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Can we leave now?
Yes, yes.
Just a minute, let me just copy the link as well. Those who have joined from the YouTube can also have it at YouTube. Check the chat box of the link. I would repeat, you have to submit both the feedback form as well as the quiz form by 7 p.m. today. Gauri ma'am, it's already there on YouTube presentation. The quiz link is already been shared. I'll share it again. It's also available on the I've shared the quiz link as well once again. So both the feedback and the quiz chat box. If there is any more query, let me know, or else we will end the session. So no more queries. Thank you, everyone.